Thank you everybody for coming here this evening on behalf of the San Juan Bautista Rotary Club International. This fundraiser is a brand new event for this city, and this is the first annual Ghost Walk, and I am your ghost guide. Whatever you believe, there is an imbued spirit here in San Juan Bautista of history, and that is undeniable. Will we see anything or hear anything tonight? We don't know. Maybe those who believe will. Maybe those who don't never will.
I have pictures set up on different walls, and in the pictures I see this reflection of a little lady walking down my hallways cleaning, or in my kitchen washing the dishes. So the first couple times I kept seeing her, I got up to look down the hallway because I was the only one home. So I explained this lady that I saw to Mary, who's my mother-in-law. She goes, well, what does she look like? So I tell her. She goes, well, that's my mom. Once in a while, I see this other lady that's with her. Well, I explained what she looked like, and she goes, well, that's my sister Alveria. They both died in this house. But I'm the only one besides the youngest son, David, who sees them. But she's not mad, she's just cleaning.
And so we come to the Crane House. Is the gentleman of the house in?
The house, I'll tell you a little of the history, was built in 1834 or 35. I'm not sure exactly. It's building between the two. It's probably the oldest stick house in the state of California. Mr. Sanchez, there's a lot of Sanchez history in this. He was the wealthiest man in the state of California in his era. He owned land from San Juan Bautista to Loma Prieta to close to Loma Prieta, 50,000 acres. And then he died on Christmas Eve when he was approximately 40 years old. His wife was married after that 5 times, and most of them were after her gold. They all met untimely, terrible deaths. So, and she lived here until she was 7. She died here in the house. And then her daughter moved in when she was, and lived here until she was 100 years old. And that was all part of the Crane family that came and lived here. There's a lot of what I call, it's not noise, it sounds like they're having a party on weekends here. Sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night around 12 or 1, I can hear things. I feel breezes when there's no breeze to feel. There's no winds out. My dog does not like, he growls when he hits that staircase. Something's going on up there. There's a lady that appears in the house next door in the window, which isn't. Last night there's a light in the window, I don't know where that came from. Whatever that is, I don't know. But it is a vision of looks like a young lady in a beautiful pink dress.
Now we're coming to the beautiful State Historic Park, which undoubtedly everybody's very familiar with.
All right, I'm going to walk you out into the middle of the plaza here so we can get the full feeling of the buildings that surround it. So why don't we go under here and across. I know it's getting kind of dark, so watch your step. Hall/Zanetta House was a girls' dormitory for the unwed Native American girls during the Spanish period. And Angelo Zanetta had this building made more modernized out of what was left of the adobe bricks of the old dormitory. It later became his family home. This was taken actually upstairs in the Zanetta house here in the grand room. And this was taken by some paranormal investigators that I gave a tour to. This one they had never seen before. They had never seen a bluish orb come out in any of their photos, and there's one following another one. So they believe that this could very possibly be some kind of paranormal activity there. One of the rangers I work with worked here many years ago, and he told me that there was one time he was closing the building at night. He said it was during the winter when things get dark earlier, so he was closing it around 5 o'clock when it was already getting kind of dark. And he walked into the building, and there was a little girl in the hall in an old style white dress, and he went to tell her he was closing the building now. And at that moment, he said she fizzled away right in front of him. And I had already heard stories about Billy when he told me that one, and I said, have you heard of Elizabeth Zanetta? And he said no. And so I took him upstairs in the hotel here where we have an old photo archive. And I showed him the only photo that we have of Elizabeth Zanetta, who was one of the children of Angelo Zanetta and the only one that died. And she died at age 7 from smallpox. I pulled that picture out and showed it to Ranger Cameron, and he immediately said, yes, that was definitely her. And that was the white dress that he saw her in.